What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking us out. Anybody and everybody who listens to us. This is the Sports Counterpoints podcast. Today is August 22nd, 2023. I'm GB. That's Brian right there. That's Coop up there. If you're watching, what's going on, guys?
Going on.
Back at it.
Live from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah. Got
with that fantastic Picasso art behind him.
Yeah, we got
exactly.
got B on location. Be on location. Today we're talking about some NFL with Jonathan Taylor and his trade request being granted, I suppose. We'll talk about kind of just an NFL young player we're interested in watching this year. Reggie Bush is suing the NCAA for defamation, so we'll speak about that. It's championship weekend for golf as well. So there's a few little topics going on, some things that we're thinking about. Let's jump in straight with Jonathan Taylor, man. We already know what's happening with the running back market. Josh Jacobs doesn't sign his franchise tender yet. He may not. We'll see. Saquon does. He got franchised. Tony Pollard does. No one got a long-term deal. And now Jonathan Taylor's requesting a trade. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's in his fourth year. So he's still
in his rookie contract. Yeah.
So he has a fifth-year option, and then whatever they could sign him for. So the Colts grant him a trade. It seems like over this last few weeks, it's kind of been going like it was looking like it was going that way with, they said he had an injury, then he said he didn't. Then, a couple of days later, he took off for family leave and now grant him a trade. So what do you guys kind of think about how this plays out?
Good luck. A team trying to give up 2 second rounders or 2 first rounders for a running back and then pay him, $30-40 million in a new contract. Good luck with that. I don't see it happening. B,
That's
what about
tough.
you?
That's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it happening, but I also think that the main reason that it's a dead issue at this point in time is, one, the running back market is completely, there's tons of talent that's still out there to be traded for. Jonathan Taylor has an injury history, and it's too close to the beginning of the season. So minus an injury to a significant player on a team that has championship aspirations and a bunch of cap money burning a hole in their pocket.
Sure.
Right. It takes a lot of different things coming together to make that work for both sides. Although I do get the impression from reading what I've read that Jonathan Taylor is at a point of no return with the Colts because of what Irsay said. And Irsay basically said, hey, he's replaceable just like everybody else. What Irsay said was 100% accurate.
It is,
right?
Correct.
I mean, you look at where Ezekiel is, you look at what happened to Cook, you look at what's happened to so many different running backs, you look at what's going on with Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley. The reality of it is, and it's an unfortunate thing. This is not to say that this is a good thing. It's just a reality.
Kind of real in life. Like I ain't irreplaceable with my damn job.
And I think the best team that kind of sizes it up is the Atlanta Falcons, right? They've had a lot of success over the last 2 seasons with a converted wide receiver that was, drafted by the Vikings.
Yeah.
Special Cordero Patterson.
Yeah.
And he was obsoleted overnight. They signed Tyler Algieri last year, who played really well. And then they immediately said, even he's not good enough, we're going to go sign Bijan. And so, there's just no such thing as job security. So what Irsay said was correct. But if Irsay wanted to be in business with Jonathan Taylor, which he says he wanted to be, you have to know what you don't say to young superstar level running backs, which is, hey, I can find someone just as good as you. Because he may find someone else, but Jonathan Taylor is a special talent when he can be healthy. So I don't think it's going to happen.
I think John Taylor.
Too many different.
Yeah.
Too many.
Yeah, I think he took that running back phone call seriously. All them running backs got together and had a little phone call, and he got off that call and demanding trades and everything. So
but not an iota of it. Didn't make an iota of difference. As a matter of fact,
well,
the first domino that fell after the call was that Saquon went and signed his tender, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't they came back and they're like, oh, we're gonna do a work stoppage for running backs.
What could you do?
Sit out. Yeah.
Well,
that's what they have to do, right? All the top running backs had to agree basically that they were gonna sit out together or
You'd have to
hold
have
out
all of
long.
them do it though, because if the guy
Yeah.
behind you comes in and he plays even remotely good,
That makes
waiting
the
for
case
his
worse.
shot to try and get
Yeah.
his money, you know what I mean?
Right.
It don't work.
Yeah, you need
Unfortunately.
like you didn't need just Cook and Zeke. You needed Derrick Henry and Alexander Madison and a wide variety of people at a whole bunch of different suspected tiers for talent, because like, oh, James Cook, not James Cook, Dalvin Cook sat out, Madison's right there. People think he's going to be good enough, so it's it's a difference. It's a real problem.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, I just don't think the situation works out the way he hopes. That's not a knock on him or his talent. It's just too many things need to come together too perfectly in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
Do crazy things happen? Absolutely. Players get injured. And there's some teams that have cap space,
But what they burning on him?
but they're not going to spend it on a 3-year deal on
Right.
Yeah, but
they'll spend it on a 1-year deal.
That's what I was saying. You
Give him
could,
a 1-year extension, but he's under contract this year. This isn't like
Right.
he needs to get signed.
that's what I'm saying. So you take the trade, you guarantee you get the 5th-year option, and then you see if you can what you
Well,
can make work.
Well, how these contracts work, there's not just contracts, they got to give up picks too, but how these contracts work is for anybody that's about to be a free agent, they add that 5th-year option, then they add the 2 franchise tags on there. That's the starting point for money that these people want. That's
Right.
guaranteed money.
And Taylor wants to get out of that.
Right. So,
And I feel bad for, like, if you think about it from a running back perspective,
Oh, it's terrible.
the 2 franchise tags and the options is a whole running back career.
yeah.
The cool part though is if you can, it's jacked up, but it almost would be behoove you to try and get the 2 tags because you get the guaranteed money that you
That's
wanted
what I'm
anyway.
saying. Yeah.
But you can't guarantee you don't get hurt, but no one can. So you're hoping for injury guarantees, et cetera. Just,
No.
we want you here long term, but get them 2 franchise tags.
Well,
That's guaranteed.
Right.
Whatever, top 5 money, guaranteed.
That's what I don't understand. The franchise tag, even if you get hurt, it's guaranteed money.
got
It's
that
fully
bread, yeah.
guaranteed. You got it. So it's like, I don't understand why they, especially from a running back position, why they're so against it, because a position like that has a short life, like we discussed, getting 2 years worth of guaranteed money at $20 million. I mean, that's not nothing to sneeze at.
Take
So
it and roll. Yeah, it's
right.
jacked. But
And if you look at the history,
you're in the locker room with real quick, B. You're in the locker room with
Yeah.
Max Crosby and Devontae and them, and like, dang, bro, we want to see you get paid, but I'm pulling up in 3 new Lambos. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure it gets tough. Like, I'm just as important as y'all. Go ahead, B.
you can buy all those Lambos though with the 11 or 12 million dollars.
100%.
Right.
But
Right.
and if you studied history, the people who signed the big deals. So what? Like I'm reading here that Jonathan Taylor wanted 11 to 12 million a year for 5 years. It was kind of the contract he's looking
5
for.
years.
Now, even if he got a contract that
Wow.
had that kind of dollars on the paper, there's no way beyond year 2 or 3 that he keeps it. And if you're questioning that, ask Dalvin Cook. He got that deal. And now he is playing for, what was it?
The
a
Jets.
few $1 million for the Jets.
8 mil.
Oh,
8 mil
I
still
found-
bread.
No, but I
Yeah.
don't know if it's fully 8 mil, because we looked at Zeke's contract and said 1 year, 6 million. The guarantee money is only
incentives and
600,000.
stuff.
Or
Yeah.
exactly 600,000. So they can cut him and not, 600,000. What's that? You know what I mean? So
Crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man, to be in that spot. I think I'm wondering too about like players in general who play that whole contract, right? Because everybody, a large percentage get restructured or it changes up, or
Completely.
every deal is
Most positions.
and every deal is made with a 2 or 3 year out. Every single deal.
I mean, look, so Dalvin Cook signed a 5-year, $63 million contract with the Vikings, including $15 million in a signing bonus,
Good bread.
$28 million guaranteed, and an average annual salary of $12,600. And he was cut, and they,
12 million.
like they're not paying the back end of that,
No.
of that contract, right? And so, anyways, Jonathan Taylor should look at history. He should look at folks like Dalvin Cook, who got the big deal, but ultimately weren't around. I mean, he was signed until 2025.
I think that's what they're looking at though, right? Is Dalvin Cook had 28 guaranteed. You're trying to get that versus just this 10 million for 1 year with the hopes that something pops. At least Dalvin had 30 million.
At 2 years as a top paid running back is probably 12 million a year. That's 24.
Yeah. But
Not
you
that
can't
much less than Dalvin Dalvin got guaranteed over 5 years. He got it. You could get it for 12.
Sure.
For 2.
So okay, so
Sure.
I'm
If you
looking
can get the
here.
deal.
I'm looking right here. The top paid running backs. I'm talking about just ones that's making 10 million and above. You got Josh Jacobs if he signs his tender. Tony Pollard who signed his. Saquon signed his. So that's 3. And then you got Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, and McCaffrey. That's it. Do we put Jonathan Taylor in that the category of those guys? I don't know.
I think he's that talented. I think
When he's on the
absolutely that
field, he
talented.
goes crazy. I can't even lie.
Yeah.
I watched him
He's
live last
absolutely
year
that talented.
run all over the Raiders. So I will give him that. But I don't know. I'm with you, Coop. I think the issue, though, is that those guys are the guys, and even they're not getting paid. 3 of them dudes you said are franchise tagged. So
Yeah, right.
Taylor's kind of stuck.
So it's really
not
only
getting
5
McCaffrey
guys.
money, and McCaffrey
Right.
got his money before all this happened anyway.
Right. He got it with Carolina. Right.
Yeah, before this happened.
Dalvin got a pretty good deal. So he got $1 million base salary. If he's on the starting roster at the beginning of the season, he gets $6 million as a roster bonus and guaranteed. Right. Yeah, exactly. And his total of possible money is $7 million. Look, obviously he was going to make 12 before, so he's lost some money, but as far as those 2 deals, you were talking about Zeke's deal and his deal is probably a little bit better.
And you go to
And the Patriots are just cheap.
It hasn't happened yet, but we're going to a ready-made playoff team, so we got to see what they do. Patriots have traditionally done that, which also was, I kind of saw the writing on the wall for Josh Jacobs because they've never really paid running backs. And I know this is a new team, and Ziegler and McDaniels want to do their own thing. They're going to make their own team and their image, true. But you still have home training. You're going to learn from what you saw, and you're going to see it doesn't work. So I didn't think they were going to pay Josh, although he is on the cap. They've offered you the 10 mil for now. I know you want 28, 30 million for 4 or 5 years guaranteed, right? 28 to 30 million or 35 million, whatever, guaranteed over 4 years. But unfortunately, it's kind of how the game plays. I do think he signs before the season starts.
Yeah, he
He's
will
on the
want
roster
to.
because I wouldn't be losing in games. I wouldn't be necessarily happy about it. I'm not going to kill myself. I'll tell you that. Like, I'm going to definitely think about my health when I jump into them piles, but I'm getting that 10 milli.
Yeah.
Did you know that the Raiders are number 2 on spending this year on the running back position at $20.9 million?
Because of the cap.
Titans are first at 22.3.
Because of the franchise tag. Yep. Yep.
Wow.
So it's going to be interesting what happens. Speaking of running,
49ers are at 5th, and I think the Vikings are. I just go all the way to the bottom. They're in the middle of the pack at 9.5.
I would say without Dalvin, yeah.
The Rams is the lowest, 5.5.
Oh yeah,
Akers and them boys.
That's because we don't know who plays running back for him. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Cam Akers, Shady Akers, and somebody else. Speaking of running backs, let's jump into Reggie Bush versus the NCAA because he did play in the pros, and then we'll go back to the NFL topic. But you mentioned this right before you jumped on, B, that Reggie Bush is suing the NCAA for defamation. That's a pretty interesting development.
Yeah, I mean, so they were asked his attorney, and the attorney, and I'll read it kind of verbatim, says the lawsuit is based on the NCAA's maliciously attacking his character through a completely false and highly offensive statement that is widely reported in the media and substantially and irreparably damaged his reputation. And what they're talking about is that he was the one that got caught with the money, which has never been proven. The only thing that he got, lost all of the awards and everything else was because his family got caught taking money. So that's the reason that he is suing. And I think this is obviously the timing of this has a lot to do with the fact that players can now earn money. And the NCAA is apparently fine with that. And so whenever they make comments about why Reggie Bush can't get his Heisman back, and they say, well, it's because he was caught cheating, when yet he was not caught cheating. That's kind of the basis of the argument. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out because the NCAA has taken the hard line with several players over the years. None as hard as against USC and Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
The only team that has ever been anywhere near the kind of repercussions that happened to USC was the death penalty that SMU got. And there's obviously some teams, Miami, that have well documented issues in this area.
Yeah, I really don't have nothing to say about it. All I'm saying is they should have never took away his Heisman Trophy.
They shouldn't have.
That was just ridiculous right there.
It was petty.
It really was.
100%.
Yeah, and I'm, of course, I don't like the NCAA. I know Brian hates them more than I do, but the NCAA is just it's whatever.
Trash.
It's whatever.
Trash. Because they're adults playing petty games with lives of children.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, not the youngest of adults. Part of this thing that I'm reading is there's the NC2A in July of 2021 said to falsely issued a statement to reporters that said because of his pay for play arrangement, they wouldn't consider restoring his collegiate records. The issue is, I think where they might get him is that pay for play specifically refers to athletes who wouldn't play unless they were paid to go there, in which case he did not do that. Now, if you're saying he took money from someone else after being an athlete there, that's a different allegation. So he actually may win this off the technicality and the actual phrasing of what the NC2A said, if they can prove that.
But who actually wins?
They can't prove that he took money. They've never been able to prove that he took money.
Yeah.
When does the NCAA ever lose these type of cases? So I don't remember them ever losing.
It depends on the idea of what you consider losing.
Ask Ed
right?
O'Bannon.
Yeah, and it depends what you consider looting. Like, they're gonna pay him out. They're gonna settle. They're gonna bring his Heisman back. They're gonna do something. I think he's gonna have, and he got the pockets, I think, to actually do this.
So the Heisman House is not an NCAA institution.
Right.
So beating them doesn't. Now it could force their hand a little bit.
Sure.
But because of all the publicity. But the Heisman House is an independent booster organization, I think.
Yep.
So
why'd they have him give it back? That's even more ridiculous.
Because they saw and they fall in line. Like I said, the SC got the closest thing to the death penalty without getting the death penalty that SMU got. SMU is the only one that got the death
right, and that's because they'll never do that again because of what it did to SMU's program. They've never been the same since that death penalty.
They've never been able to
since '84. They had
never will.
Yeah, never will. Right.
That was Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson, yeah. Tony James, Eric Dickerson.
It was everyone.
Yeah.
That whole
it was more people getting paid then. Yeah.
They were literally walking around with wads of money, just like, yep, this is what they were flaunting it. And there's a really great 30 for 30 on.
Yeah, I was about to say, a really good 30 for 30 on SMU. The Pony Express is what they called it. Yep, it was really good.
And one player who came in and asked for money and they said no.
Right.
And he blew the whistle.
It was that white guy. Yep. It was the big white guy. I think it was a lineman or something. Yep. And he told on everybody. Mm-hmm.
Man, that would have been an easy payment to make to shut
him
up.
He got injured and his payment stopped. And so he was like, right. So
and all of that. I mean, I think the number value over the course of the next season and a half was less than $30,000. It was like a couple grand a week or whatever.
It was a week,
relatively small sum of money when you think of what happened.
The big term,
I guarantee you, everybody who was affiliated with that stuff at SMU wishes they had just given that man his 25, 30 grand, whatever the hell it was. It was not big money. It's not hundreds of thousands. Because I remember when I was watching the show and they said the number, I was like, really?
Right. It was like 2-3 a week.
Someone should have broke some bread and wrote a check.
Right. They were like, you're useless to us while we paying you, and that was it. But Brian's right. It was like 2 or 3
They were giving
a week.
people cars. It was silly.
Because Eric Dixon had that yellow whatever it was, convertible, whatever car it was, flaunting it with that curl and them sunglasses. Yeah. So yep.
That's hella funny. I gotta watch that. Okay.
It was good.
All right, word. We'll see what happens with Reggie. It's jumping back. So we're talking about running backs, young players, college. Back to Coop, you had brought this up. In the NFL, any young player that you're really curious to see how they do. I'll let you start because it was kind of your idea. Who are you thinking?
Well, I've already talked about Bryce Young, but I'm going to talk about another guy. And that was a guy that I know every NFL draft, me and Brian, we like to say, we have to pick a guy who we think might be, better than what people think, or just might be a good player overall. Not the overall number one pick, but somebody who's probably a little, not really on everybody's radar. And last year I picked George Pickens. Now he had about 52 catches, and I think 700 something yards for the Pittsburgh Steelers and only 4 touchdowns. But for what I'm hearing about Steelers camp, now this is just camp. They said Kenny Pickett is looking pretty good, but of course everybody is at this time of year. But I'm really looking for George Pickens to have a big year in the NFL. When I say big year, it's his second year in the league. I'm talking about 1,000 yards. So we'll see. He was very talented when he was at Georgia. He kind of went under the radar because of his attitude, and he got injured. But he should be all the way back from his ACL injury that he had at Georgia. So he's one player to look out for. And if you're drafting in fantasy, he's worth a mid-round pick.
Yeah, he got hands crazy. I would say actually for me, it's on my team. I'm curious to see what Trey Tucker does. For sure. Yep, Zamir White when he gets his burn, but Trey Tucker, the wide receiver, is a burner. I'm curious to see what he does. And it's really all Raiders, man, because Aiden O'Connell's cooking right now in preseason. So he's looking like he knows what he's doing. He has a little bit of control of the offense. So that's for my team. On the other teams, I'm curious about some of these Jets guys. So I want to see what
my
Sauce
guy is Garrett
does.
Wilson.
And yeah, Garrett Wilson. Yep.
I think Garrett Wilson is has the tools and talent to be that guy, like a Jamar Chase and a Jefferson. He has that, and then obviously it's more intriguing because he's got Aaron Rodgers.
He's got the QB now. Yep.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers is a horrible human being, but he's a really good quarterback.
It's funny.
Yeah,
what's funny is I drafted Aaron Rodgers in my fantasy football league this year in the 8th round. I don't remember Aaron Rodgers ever going that low in any draft.
But it's the right place for him to go, right? He's probably not a top 10 fantasy quarterback right now.
When I got the second quarterbacks, it was Dak Prescott's and all these other ones. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and take Aaron.
And I guarantee you, Justin Fields was available for you at some point in time, and you just couldn't do it.
Oh no, I couldn't do it. Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, wasn't gonna happen.
This guy's grimy, bro. Dang, them young boys can't win, man. Dang, these guys.
What's gonna happen? Hey, Bryce Young can. Bryce Young.
I'm curious to see him, to see CJ, to see Will Anderson for the Texans. Like I'm definitely excited about this season. Every year I feel like that, but there's a lot of good intrigue. All right, so you had that, and then B, you mentioned it's championship for golf, man. Kind of what are you seeing? Hovland just went crazy in the BMW championship last week.
Absolutely nutty.
7 birdies in the final 9. Dude just got like hot and couldn't be stopped and came back from like 5th place to win it all.
And won by 2. I mean, didn't just win. Like he put so much pressure that the minute Scheffler saw that he was down a stroke, he missed a very, very easy putt. What's going to be really interesting is that Scotty Scheffler is number 1 right now. Victor Hovland's right behind him. Rory McIlroy's right there, and then I think it's John Rahm after that. It's a great group of people at the top. But for anybody who follows golf, Scotty Scheffler, who is in the top spot right now, still cannot putt. He is a horrible putter. And they said that if he were a tour average putter, this is number 1 in the FedEx Cup. But if he were a tour average putter, he would have won like 7 more tournaments this year. That's just how bad his putting was. That it was the difference between him dominating the year and he's still number 1, and then giving up a tournament last week.
That's tough.
He missed a 7-footer. And the minute it left his club, it wasn't like he burnt an edge. I mean, he missed that putt. He misread it. He mishit it. It was all the things. And meanwhile, Victor Hovland was able to run him down. So the way that the championship round, for people who haven't watched the FedEx Cup, as it's changed a couple of times, is that the way that they do the tournament is they start players with at a certain point in the scoring based on how they've done over the season. So I don't know the exact thing, but like Scotty Scheffler will start the week at -4, and next ones will start at -2, and so on and so forth. And then from there, you're just running them down for the next 4 days. There's no cut. There's only 30 players. It's a really interesting tournament. It's easy to see why someone like Hovland could, in this format, run down a Scotty Scheffler who seems to crack a little bit when it gets tight and gets close and there's pressure.
Yikes. I'm curious to see.
Yeah.
Go ahead, B.
I also think that if you want a feel-good story, Lucas Glover, who won back-to-back weeks, including the first round of the FedEx Cup, a little bit older, right there in that range with you there, Glenn, and has been playing lights out, and he's ranked 5th in the FedEx Cup right now after playing some amazing golf down the stretch. In the middle of the year, and he was asked about this. At the middle of the year, he was way behind. He was playing awful. I think for him it was also putting was his big woe. And he was asked, once he had won the second tournament in a row and the first of the FedEx Cup tournaments, if anyone had told you at the middle of the year that you would, have 1, 2 in a row, be in the top 10, actually at that point, I think it was top 15. And it was because of his strokes gained on the crowd and putting. He said, "Oh, I would have told you need to go see a doctor right now, and I would have got away from you because clearly you're crazy." Like that's the kind of turnaround he's had. So if you want a feel good story, watching him in the 5th spot will be kind of a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is, man, it's if you're into golf at all, or even if you're not and you're curious, like this would be the one to watch. I mean, Scotty Scheffler, Victor Hovland, Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Lucas Glover, Max Homa. Like these are just the top guys that are in the world. Fitzpatrick.
The 30 best players, no cut.
Yeah. Wyndham Clark, Tommy Fleetwood's in there, Keegan Bradley, Ricky Fowler,
Tony
Fleetwood. Finau. I mean, it's
Beef,
like, damn,
Straka.
Morikawa, Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, like, sheesh. Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah, it's a great tournament to watch. Now, they've been trying to tweak the format because for a long time it was you'd get to this one and like Tiger, I think, won it the first 2 years, and he had such a point lead on everybody else that he could have finished like 12th or 15th or someplace deep.
Yeah.
That's why they changed this thing so that they give them a point so that whoever wins this tournament also will win the FedEx Cup, which comes with, I think, a $25 million payout, one lump sum.
Well, damn.
That lives golf money.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Oh, that's pretty. Word, man, that's crazy. All right. Well, that's pretty much our show for today. Just a few quick hitters. Each week we're getting closer to real football as far as the season's concerned, which is very exciting. So we'll be ramping that up too as we go. But thank you, any and everybody who checks us out as we do our weekly show. Just family that likes talking about sports. We've been doing this for about 5 years. So thanks for checking us out. It's our last segment. What's a bunch of hogwash, which Brian started some weeks back or some months back, and we've kept in the show. And then we'll do our last minute to win it in the rant. If either of you got a hogwash, tell me something to tell a hogwash. I ain't got it.
I have nothing. I'm just trying to stop talking.
I hear you. Yeah, feel better, man.
I have nothing.
Gosh, there is so much that hella hogwash. You know what? This is just light. What's hella hogwash is having a hurricane / tropical storm hitting Southern California, and in the middle of that having a 5.5 earthquake. Having all the things all at once. I was flying out. I'm in the heart of stupidity in Orlando, Florida right now. And when I flew out here, I was caught a ride with somebody who I've sparred with in the past, and when it comes to politics, and we were driving over to the resort that we're at right now, and he's like, all this crazy weather has nothing to do with global warming. That really what's happening is that there's a volcano that was underwater that erupted, which is why the water's warm. And I'm like, great, where did it erupt? He's like, oh, it's off the coast of Florida, and it's, off the Atlantic. And I said, how do you explain the hurricane in California then? Like, the water's not connected, but what's hella hogwash is having both of those things happen in a short period of time. People needed a break. My family needed a break. I'm not there. I was out of town.
Yeah, people were making hella jokes too. When I seen they talk about, this is just some rain, which lucky it is, because I'm glad it wasn't super devastating, because it could.
Right.
Well, it wasn't super devastating to Orange County and Los Angeles County. It was super devastating to the deserts, Palm Deserts, where they get 5 inches of rain in a year. They got 5 inches of rain in a matter of a few hours. My house got 4 inches of rain, but there's drainage and things set up for it. Deserts are not meant to take on that much water. They don't have that kind of drainage. They don't have places. The hospitals got flooded. The power was out. They had to do all types of things. Vegas was another place that had all types of flooding issues. And, just because they're not built for that, they don't have drainage that goes into the thing. They just have washes where excess water goes because they don't get 5 inches in a matter of hours.
Yeah, actually, that would be my hogwash, man. It's just our apathy for everything as a collective, right? Like
we really look for reasons to tell people that they're worried about nothing.
Yeah,
100%. When things happen, and if stuff happens, it's thoughts and prayers. When it's devastating, and when it's not, it's jokes, and people are playing in floodwaters and chilling. And although that storm coming across other countries could have been devastating, it's like, well, it wasn't me, so sorry it happened there, but whatever. Just very apathetic, and I don't see it changing. And I'm not even saying I'm not a part of it. It's sad. Hogwash. Coop. Going once, going twice. All right. Last segment, man. Minute to win it. Your chance to talk about anything and everything you feel like. I just want to say thank you to everybody who listens. Appreciate my brother Raymond, who hosted Baden Weekend last weekend. We had a great time hanging out there. My dad will see this, but I still appreciate him, and just thankful for you guys letting me do this. Hey, Mom.
Yeah, I'm the same thing. Thank you, everybody, for listening. B, close it out.
The only thing I'm going to say is, does everybody know what tomorrow is? Or sorry, Thursday is? It's
August 24th.
It's Trump photo day. So Georgia is going to arraign the former president, and they have promised to both fingerprint him and to put him through the photo shoot. He is going apoplectic on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it today, and just firing at everyone. He has just lost his damn mind. It is enjoyable to watch, but if ever there was good reason to put that man on a 5150 hold, the kind of comments he's made over the last couple of days should be exhibits A through Z as to why that man has completely lost his grip on reality. But I think it's wonderful that he gets to go through the same trials and tribulations that so many other people get to go, sometimes for no particularly good reason, just because they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And he gets to have his fingerprints taken, and he gets to have his booking photos taken, and then be fully and properly arraigned. He will not have to stay in a jail for any period of time because they've already arranged what his bail's going to be and all the rest of it. But
Crazy.
It's at least a small minor victory for those folks.
Crazy, man. That's our show. It's Sports Counterpoints podcast, August 22nd, 2023. We will catch y'all next week. Peace.